Registration closes tomorrow at midnight for the Rule Zero Zoom conference. So buy your tickets from me by sending me an email. I'll have my email in the description of the video. I want you to send me an email so I can send you a PayPal invoice and I can track you to make sure that you are able to log in and you don't run into any problems. I'm going to be doing a presentation, and so will 9 other speakers, and it's going to be a lot of good content that you can't just have here on YouTube for free. So if you are wanting to go, and I hope you are, I hope I can see you there, hit me up with that email and we'll get you taken care of. Paul with Apex Mindset. We're starting a series, the Green Flag series. So take your finger, slide it over, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and get on my email list for content I can't provide here on YouTube because of censors. The link's in the description. So, red flags and green flags. As human beings, it's part of our human condition to be attracted or drawn to things that will cause us danger. This is why bad news sells and good news doesn't. I could probably collect a couple 100,000 subscribers in 6 months easily or less if I were to just talk about women in a negative fashion and talk about nothing but all the dangers of women. This is how some of these MGTOW channels and some of these real nihilistic channels became popular. There's algorithms and stuff that I'm not good at yet that they are good at, which has also helped them. But a lot of it is just the attraction to the dangers, the negative stuff, the problems. And I do talk about problems and dangers all the time on this channel, but this series is to talk about things to look for in a good partner, a good dating partner, a good potential long-term relationship partner. Guys often ask me, and it's even come up on live shows, what are some signs of somebody that would be a good potential mate? And so we're going to cover that in this Green Flag series. Also, I do have a few women viewers that view my stuff consistently, and they're always wondering, okay, what the hell am I supposed to do? I've made mistakes in the past. I see stuff that are red flags that I have. Well, what are some things that I can do to be a good quality partner and for me to be able to snag a good high value man? So that's a very good question. We're going to cover that stuff here. Well, the first green flag we're going to cover is her ability or her demonstration of taking breaks after relationships. Now, another thing with these green flags, I'm not going to sit here and give you like the Boy Scout list. Is she trustworthy, loyal? Is she helpful? Is she friendly? I mean, that stuff is obvious. That stuff is just clickbait and it's garbage. You know what qualities you're looking for in a chick. You don't need me to tell you that. But the problem is guys get duped. Well, both men and women get duped in the honeymoon stages of relationships when people are on their best behavior. People are always trying to present themselves in the best light. They're trying to hide their flaws. They're trying to hide their shortcomings. And then, of course, you get invested in a relationship with someone. You get invested in a dating scenario with somebody. You start to have emotions for that person. And you start to maybe start investing your future plans into this person, even financial resources in this person. And then there turns out to be problems. So we're going to discuss good signs for good potential partners, signs that she's not necessarily displaying on purpose, things that she's not going to try to put a front up during that honeymoon phase to try to demonstrate quality. These are things that you'll just notice about her and that you want to consider as being a good sign. So taking a break after a breakup is a very good sign. If she's had exes before and she classically or usually takes a break before jumping back into the sexual marketplace, that is an indicator of pair bonding. When a woman goes through a breakup, especially a serious relationship where she had a lot of feelings and emotions for that person, there are 2 strategies she could implement. One is she could jump on as the carousel, so to speak, and start going through dude after dude, okay? And another is she could take a break. She has competing drives here. One drive is hypergamy and promiscuity. Women have a drive towards promiscuity and hypergamy is a drive towards that. They want to have and mate with the best genetic options. So if they go through a painful breakup, they immediately want to find somebody as quickly as possible that is better than that ex as a genetic option. So that is a driver, and they want to do that tomorrow. Okay, that's part of that primitive drive. And another part of the primitive drive is they know all of these bad feelings could be temporarily fixed or covered by having sex with someone else. The act of having sex and just jumping in the sack with somebody else, and that hypergamous need to level up immediately or as quickly as possible for mating purposes in our primal past, these are one set of drives which would cause her to go through a hoe phase immediately after a breakup or to continue starting to cycle through men. But there's another drive as well, and it's a desire to pair bond. She instinctually knows, even women like to argue with me about this point, they always dime themselves out as being on the same page as me, even if they don't like it. They know that being a hoe and going through a bunch of notches and going through a bunch of dudes complicates their ability to have a healthy relationship later, potentially. They know that. So they have natural resistance to that. They have a natural resistance to potentially mating with an apex alpha and then being discarded by that guy as well. That causes them to want to be reserved. So now you have these two competing primal drives. One is promiscuity, and another is to not ruin their pair bonding ability. Now, one of those drives requires a little bit of self-restraint and delayed gratification. Another, the promiscuity one, doesn't require that. So women with an inability to delay their gratification, potential cheaters, will jump right into promiscuity. But at the end of the day, what we're talking about is a neurochemical response when you pair bond. When you pair bond, you get a lot of a dopamine when you have sex with a person that you feel bonded to and you achieve them or get them, and a lot of oxytocin afterwards that causes you to have those love feelings for that person. This is by genetic design so that women will stick with the men that they've mated with in order for them to take care of that offspring. This is a practice drive and a neurochemical response. Now, if a girl goes through a lot of trauma, a lot of damage, she does damage to herself and just going for as much fun and as much sexual gratification as possible with no bonding, what often happens is they're unable to bond later without maybe a ton of work, which would remain to be seen, but they could have ruined their ability to bond with a partner for long-term mating. So they can't, 6 months to a year or two, they're bored with their monogamous partner no matter how good or bad he is, and they're looking to mate switch, cheat, discard him, or they'll just sit in that relationship and be unhappy and be a detriment to that guy and themselves. And so that's a real problem. That's probably the guy's biggest risk, is that he starts building a life and he gets invested with someone who isn't able to pair bond with him, who's ruined that ability. So somebody who's promiscuous after a breakup and just starts going through that hoe phase, running through man after man, okay, to try to feel better, she is practicing a polyamorous drive, short-term mating strategy that is not designed for her to pair bond. So she is blunting those neurochemicals that would be required for pair bonding later. Will it completely ruin her ability to pair bond or not? Well, that remains to be seen, and that's going to depend on the individual and the impact of those behaviors on that individual. But it's not a good sign. So when in discussions, oftentimes when you're dating somebody, you start talking about past or an ex or this comes up, just asking a question in a non-judgmental fashion. Well, after that breakup, how long did it take you before you started dating again? So asking that question is a good question to ask, because if she is like, I was really broken up, I didn't feel good about myself and what was going on, and I felt hurt from the breakup. So it took me, 6 months before I started dating again, or 4 months, or whatever. If she says something like that, that is a good indicator that she has an ability to pair bond, that she hasn't lost it. But if she is like, oh, I was so tired of him and I was ready to be out of there, I started dating right away, I was on a date next week because screw him. If that's her answer, that's not a good sign. Now, when we talk about flags, we're not talking about sure things. Green flag or even red flag is not necessarily for certain. If she has this green flag, she for certain is a good partner. If she has this red flag, she's for certain not a good partner. There is no certainty here. What you're looking for is probability. You're playing odds. There's enough indicators of red flags, and not having enough green flags should make you more aware and more observant and more reserved in terms of giving your commitment away or having expectations of building anything with this person. So this is a good one, though. If she does not have this green flag, I would not give away my commitment to this person right away. I would be very observant and see, based on her other behaviors, does she seem to have or have retained this ability to pair bond, or has she ruined that? Because rest assured, if her first answer when things go badly is to start banging a bunch of other dudes, that's going to be her default mechanism when she's with you. And she may or may not have admitted to cheating in other relationships, but a good indicator that she might have would be this kind of behavior. I broke up. Because often, too, when women break up, they still sleep with their exes, which is, if you're a woman listening, that is disgusting to a man, by the way. Men are disgusted by the idea that you broke up with somebody and then you went back just to bang them. Absolutely grossed out. Nothing could be grosser. You'd be better off with a new partner. I've done video on that, but maybe I'll do another one. But that being said, though, they're usually going back to their exes, sleeping with them, and then they're trying to sleep with new partners, and it's just a mess. And so if that's their default behavior and they don't have any insight into that or indicators of trying to do something different, that's probably going to be the behavior they have when things go badly, or if you run into trouble in your relationship with her, that'll be her default behavior probably. But regardless, you want to look for indicators of pair bonding if you're going to give that commitment away. This is one solid indicator. Thanks again for the support.